Ah, okay, there's our problem. Hey guys, so I'm back today, and today I have an interesting issue with the Dyson that we are going to take a look at and see if we can figure out what's going on. So what's interesting about this particular machine is it came in and the customer was telling me that it turns on like randomly. So I noticed that there was a gap right here at the bottom. If you can kind of see it, it looks like it starts off kind of flush here, and then the gap gets bigger right here at the bottom. And then if you pull it from there, the power actually turns on. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on. It kind of seems counterintuitive because the trigger like pushes down on the power switch. So I don't really understand why it's doing that. So we'll take it apart and we'll see what is happening inside of there. So follow along. So looking at the battery, I don't see anything obvious. So I'm gonna keep going here. I think I'm gonna have to take this trigger assembly out to actually inspect it completely. So that kind of requires a full teardown. So if you've watched my trigger replacement video, then you'll be able to see, I'll actually give instructions on how to do that. So I will link that in the description, and that way you can follow along with some step-by-step instructions. This is a T8 screwdriver.
Quartz.
A commenter actually pointed this out. When you take this white cover off, if you push this part, actually comes out of here. So in my other video, I think I left this connected, but that's helpful just to get it out of the way. Ah, okay, there's our problem. What is that? That is the screw post that holds this trigger assembly, and it goes right here. So this screw here, which is what holds this trigger assembly in place. Now this trigger is actually just about to crack as well. So this thing was about to have multiple problems. So yeah, so this screw post here that holds the trigger assembly in broke. So now what happens is this trigger assembly kind of works itself down a little bit and pushes down onto the trigger. So I think what's going on is because this was sliding down, and as it was sliding down, it was actually pushing this part here. As this was sliding down, it was actually causing the trigger, this red trigger, to be pressed down, because it normally, when it's when it's installed, it gets shoved up like this, so that when you push it down, it activates it. And so for whatever reason, the tolerance is in there because of this screw post and this being loose and not in the right position, caused this to slip down, and then are causing it to turn on randomly just by moving it a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and recommend this repair just to replace the body assembly. So if this happens to you, unfortunately, what this is probably going to require for you to do is to replace this entire motor assembly, because I'm not aware that Dyson sells this part, that anybody makes this part available separately. And just because that one screw post breaks kind of renders this whole thing useless. Now you could tape this, tape this down. It's still, the trigger assembly is still in there, kind of like hovering and just not secured. So if you can find a way to secure this trigger assembly from moving around, you also have to remember too, when this trigger assembly is in, see the screw for the battery actually screws into the trigger assembly. So the whole weight of this battery is only secured by these two screws up here, but then the back side of this battery is securing the battery to this switch assembly, and then only this one screw is holding basically this whole battery, because this is attaching it. So it's kind of a poor design as far as the strength of the design here. So so I hope this is helpful, and I'm gonna talk with my customer and see what they want to do, and then I will maybe report back later on this video. All right, so I did just look through my parts bins, and I found one of these that has a bad board. Man, look how corroded this is. This thing picked up a lot of water. That trigger is about to crack too. Oh yeah, it's already cracked. Look at that. That's what the screw post should look like. See how it's broken off? I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty easy to see. Yeah. All right, so I think we'll be able to fix this machine for this customer, because I actually have one of these used. That's good.